a shame. 1, 2, 3, stretch her out at the old ball game.
Good morning and welcome to Packs for Breakfast here on Sunday morning. We're staring down the barrel at 1988 Fleer baseball, which was one of, I would not say my favorite sets, but I really liked the basic design with the red, white, and blue. Definitely better than the upcoming 1991 Fleer. Gross. But, Randy, how are you doing today?
Oh, I missed 91 already.
No, you don't.
Look at that yellow. Look at that yellow on those packs, just reminding us of what they're going to do to us in the future.
Yeah, a little bit of a what do they call that?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yes. Also, we have our special recurring guest, Kirk Buck, out with us today. Kirk, how's it going?
It's going good. I just, in the opening credits, that donut is probably stale by now. So you probably want to get a new donut for the opening. Just throwing it out there.
Well, the TVs, I mean, that commercial's been around for a long time. Just saying.
Okay. Yes. And are there going to be any gum? And there's not going to be any gum in these packs, are there? Flair didn't do that, did they?
No, they did stickers. Actually, and it's kind of funny, the gum thing was very contentious there for a while. I think it was 82. Topps kind of sued everybody and said, hey, the gum is our thing. And they won, and Topps was the only one allowed to put gum in packs after, I think it was 1982.
Copyrighted gum. That's odd.
Well, there was it's funny that they can copyright things like this. There was a video game called Ridge Racer that Namco made. And at the start screen, but while the game was booting up, you could play Galaga or Galaxian, depending on what, But Namco patented that so that nobody else could put a video game before a video game that was playable. It couldn't be done by anybody else. It's like the patent just ran out on that maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But Namco did that to where nobody, it was a great idea. You could play a game while you were waiting for your game to load, and nobody else was allowed to do it except Namco. It's a weird thing to be able to patent.
Whatever works.
Oh, by the way, just a quick shout out. I know it's kind of topical, but we got a new pope from Chicago, and I heard he's instituting deep dish communion wafers. Did you guys hear that?
Okay.
It's I've never had a communion wafer in my life, so I'm just as long as you put some marinara sauce and a pepperoni on there, I can go for that.
I might go to church again if they did that. And,
yeah.
Okay, and one more, in honor of Harry Carey. All cows are going to be holy. So that's this new thing you just put. Hey.
Holy cow!
It's Harry's doing it from up above. I wonder if Harry was Catholic.
It'd be nice if we had a Harry Carey card, but they didn't do it. Did anybody ever do announcer cards? I doubt it.
NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR was the only one to do the announcer cards for sure.
It's how many announcer cards did we pull in that NASCAR pack? And also, just kind of topical, the Rockies are still losing, and they lost by 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah, 21-0.
It's that is so. It's how are you? You're a home team at Coors Field. The opposing team puts up 21, and you put up nothing.
Get shut up. The other team beat you so bad they can go drinking legally. That's amazing.
Yeah, they can go drinking legally on their score.
So this was 1988, which was based off of the 1987 season. So the Twins were victorious in the 87 World Series. They were not supposed to be there. The Tigers were actually favored to win that one or to go. Kind of an interesting season. We had some rookies that we're going to be looking for: Tom Glavine, Ken Caminiti, Mark Grace, Matt Williams. There was a few guys to chase after in this set. So should be an interesting one. These cards are what? Got to do some quick math to try and figure out how old they are. They're 30. No, almost 40. So 30.
Yeah, like 38, I believe. 38, 30. Yeah. So, all right, well, let's rip
37.
Into 'em.
We'll say I think they're 37. So let's get in. We're gonna have a sticker at the beginning of each of these packs. And
at least the one good thing about no gum in these ones is that the gum is not fused to the top card.
that is true, which was a problem. All right, let's get the camera to focus up here. There we go. All right, so we got Cubs and Athletics to start the stickers.
Cubbies.
And we're going to start off with a pitcher, Willie Hernandez for the Tigers. A little different uniform for him.
Not
Yeah.
well attended. The crowd isn't there yet.
It's kind of interesting. It's more of a Giants look.
Well, it looks like it's like Willie was just walking past or something, and the cameraman goes, "Hey, Willie, look over here," and he goes, "What?"
Yeah, he doesn't know the camera. Yeah, he's not aware that he's on a baseball card right now.
Yeah, because he's not even looking at the camera. He's like staring off into space. Like it's like, oh wow, there's one fan here right now.
Then we got Benito.
Ooh.
Yeah, Benito. I want to say he was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he was a good catcher. Like, and yeah, catchers don't last long because that beats him up. But yeah, he was a good one for a while.
Yeah,
Well, and Benito Santiago, when nobody was on base, he used to have a different way he sat behind the plate. He wasn't doing the typical crouch. He would kind of have this, his legs were in a different position when there was nobody on base to save his knees a little bit. But when somebody got on base, then he went back to his traditional crouch because it was the only way he could throw out of the stance.
Ray Knight, funny story. He was a New York Met, and the series where, remember the Bill Buckner thing, rounding the bases? Ray Knight was the guy that I believe scored the winning run to crush all of the Boston Red Sox fans to go to a Game 7 in the World Series.
The funny thing is, I know more of Ray Knight from him being an analyst than I ever knew him as a player.
We got Mariano Duncan, shortstop for the Dodgers.
He was a speedy guy. I think he had a good arm, but yeah, he was not a great hitter. It was before the steroid days where the middle infielders had to hit 20 home runs too.
Yeah, Mariano Duncan's probably one of those guys. He was a 5 to 7 home run hitter a year guy.
Well, then you go to
speedster.
Dwayne Murphy, who he's a tank.
Look at that old school.
Yeah, but I don't think he was a tank that had very much pop. Because I don't remember Dwayne Murphy being all that. It's like all that good.
Well, in '84 he hit 33 home runs, but in '87 he hit 8.
Chris, down at the bottom, are they breaking down stats by day games and night games? What's the?
Yeah,
see
yeah.
a sun, a moon, and okay, wow, they even on the road. That's cool. I've never seen a car do that before.
Yeah, that is neat. I like that.
Wow. Yeah, because
So
they say
basically go ahead, Kurt.
Well, I was just saying, they say, when guys get to sleep in their own beds or they're in their home state, they got the routine down, like they play better than they play on the road because they're traveling. So that's really interesting.
But what's interesting the most is his home batting average was 178 and his road batting average was 280.
Oh.
So
So he wanted to get, he did better away from the wife and kids when he got to fool around.
Well, the thing is, it's like, so that season he had 34 home runs. That was basically 1/5 of his home runs for his career. He hit 166 total.
Vance Law, attorney at law.
Second
Okay.
baseman. It's always funny looking at the middle infielders because he didn't have he wasn't a big, pop guy or anything. Yeah.
Did he like Shasta instead?
Shasta. Huh?
Bill Pacoda, third baseman for the Royals.
Hmm.
Looks like a typical.
The Royals, I think the Royals won in 86, maybe? 80, 85? He might have had a World Series ring.
I think it was against St. Louis, I think. But I could be wrong. It's a while ago. Oh, speak of the devil.
Dave Concepcion. Speak of the devil, were you just talking about him or something?
Oh, I forgot. No, sorry, we were talking about somebody else. Wrong guy.
Oh,
Who were we talking about? Never mind.
Bill Pacoda.
Then there's Mike Loind. Pitcher for
He's
the
very
Rangers.
flexible. Look at that knee way up there in the armpit. Good
That's
for
a
him.
heck of a leg kick for sure.
That's a big leg kick, sir.
Rafael Santana, shortstop for the Mets. That's a posed picture. Like, he wanted that as his pose.
Yes. Arms folded. You know what?
Or he was just told you're not starting today.
He looks a little upset. You're right. Oh, come on, coach. Put me in.
It's like, I could do it, coach. I could do it.
Ooh, I like that uniform for the Angels there. Willie Fraser.
It's a bad sign when he can. The only picture is him sitting on the bench. They could never find him on the field. So that's all they could snap.
And then you got Von Hayes, who was traded to the Phillies. They went and grabbed him, and he was pretty good. He had not a huge, like, didn't have a lot of pop in his bat, but he was a big time hitter. He could get on base.
Contact guy. Nice.
Yeah, because he had in '86 he had 186 hits with 46 doubles and 98 RBIs. So without hitting a ton of home runs, he was a contact hitter for sure, but he was good at it.
Look who's next. Look who's coming next.
You know what? Von Hayes is going to go up here for now. Oh, the crime dog. Which is weird because he's listed as DH, but
I remember it was a first baseman, as I remember him. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, he had some power. He had some pop. Seems like he was good for 100 ribbies and 29, 30 home runs.
And famously a Brave after the Blue Jays.
Yes.
Mike Felder for the Brew Crew. And Bobby Meacham, shortstop for the Yankees, to round out that pack.
All right. Nobody. I would say probably Fred McGriff might have been the only All-Star I saw in there. I don't know.
Yeah, Benito was an All-Star. I mean, maybe not in '88, or '87, but
An up-and-coming All-Star. Yes. Yeah. He had some veterans in front of him.
Poor Bobby Meacham. That was going to be his last year he played baseball.
Oh, bummer.
It's like his last year was 1988. He played his whole entire career with the Yankees, 83 to 88, and it wasn't much of a career.
So we'll start this off with a big Padres sticker in comparison to the Cubs sticker.
And I heard that one is a scratch and sniff. It smells like SeaWorld. It smells like fish.
And we got
Better than the gum.
This guy, yeah, he was like a reliever for the Mets. He was like a goofball. He was I had heard several stories about him being like a prankster guy. So sort of a guy who kept the morale up in the bullpen, keep him from getting bored. Like the hot foot.
The Rockies could use him now, probably. He'd probably be just as good as the Rockies pitching now. at his age.
Mike Pagliarulo, third baseman for the Yankees. Jose Lind, second baseman for the Pirates.
You know what? If he makes it to 91, those cards are going to fit him very well if he makes it to 91 on the Pirates.
Yeah,
the Pirates had a squad. They had a squad for a while with Bonilla and a young Barry Bonds and Andy Van Slyke. Yeah, they were. And I believe they can never get past the Braves. The Braves always beat them, if I remember right.
Another famous Randy Bush.
I don't know if we can call him famous.
Well,
but the thing is, I think he was on that World Series team, though.
Yep. So he played 122 games in 87. So.
What kind of massive stats did he put up in 1987?
253. Yeah, he wasn't really like. He had 46 RBIs, 74 hits.
Ironically, he was one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But ironically, he was the first guy to start manscaping.
He's actually the guy that owns Manscaped.com.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the Minnesota. He played his entire career with the Twins and got 2 World Series out of it.
Then you got Jeff Stone with a stone look on his face.
If he lived in Colorado, that would be a different look.
And Pat Tabler, first base DH for the Indians.
Makes me think of Major League, the baseball movie.
Yeah. They got Cal Daniels, outfielder for the Reds.
I mean, look, they took a picture of him at like a minor league park because it's like, look at the chain link fence way in the background on the picture.
Yeah,
it does seem like spring training or something. You're right. Nice catch. That does not look like a major league ballpark.
No, it does not look like he would ever make it to the major leagues, baby.
You got Willie Upshaw for the Blue Jays. Toronto was really good in '87 as well. They were doing up there with the Tigers.
I think they win in 92 and 93, so they were building something.
Then you got Rocky Childress, pitcher for the Astros before they were in the American League. And that's who.
See, look, he's still got his warm-up jacket on.
Yeah.
He's just coming out of the dugout. They snap a picture, and it's like, well, you're not going to be on the field, so we're not going to get the action shot.
Yeah, Richard Dotson for the White Sox.
Not the car, Dotson. Different. Okay.
You mean it's not a Dotson Z?
No, but he got one for free just because he had a similar name. That was nice of him.
Could you imagine walking in and say, my last name is Dotson. Can I have a discount on one of these really tiny cars?
Sure, why not?
And you got Keith Moreland for the Cubbies, third baseman.
He looks like he takes up more land than most guys.
Teddy Higuera for the Brew Crew. He was pretty good. I don't know if we talked about him, Randy. I feel like we've
talked about him. I've had to look up his boring stats before. It's like Higuera does not need to be up on those card stands.
Jeff Dedman, pitcher for the Braves.
Rocking the stash.
Yeah.
What a great name if you're a wrestler. Dead Man.
Donnell Nixon, outfielder for the Mariners. That's an interesting pose choice.
It looks like he has. Are those batting? What is behind him? Is it batting gloves? Because like he's already wearing batting gloves, and it looks like there's
more batting gloves.
How many batting gloves do you need, Daniel? Come on.
One are his batting gloves, and one of them is when he's on base and he's going to steal bases with it.
Oh, those
And
goofy oven mitts they wear now? That's so weird.
Oh, yeah, I know. That makes me laugh. And then it's like they lead with the hand into the base that doesn't have the oven mitt on.
I just like in the dugout, like they're baking something. It's like, oh wait, I gotta go bat.
so we're gonna start
It's
this.
like, I got cookies in the oven for when we get to the 7th inning stretch.
Exactly. Would someone bunt me over, please? Move me over. I need to get back and take the cookies out.
Yeah,
Where
it's like if you're a Rockies, it'll be strikeout. We'll go back and end the inning.
we'll start this puck off with Brewers and Mets stickers. Deion James, outfielder for the Braves.
He
That's a
could have been
great
Deion
name.
Sanders. He could have been LeBron James, but instead he was just Deion James.
He's a hybrid.
He's a hybrid, and it didn't work. So he's a Prius.
We got Dave Schmidt, pitcher for the Orioles. Denny Walling, third base for the Astros.
Yeah, they're in
That's a
Dodger
good name.
Stadium for that.
Yes.
Mickey Brantley, outfielder for the Mariners, who I believe in '87 the Mariners were like way better than they were supposed to be on paper.
It's nice when a team overachieves unexpectedly. You know?
Yeah. Lance Johnson, outfielder for the Cardinals.
Most boring name ever. Lance Johnson.
Mike,
He doesn't look like he's that exciting of a player to period. He looks very thin and
I don't remember him.
rangy.
Mike Heath, catcher for the Tigers. Donnie Moore, he looks like he's been around a while at this point.
He looks like a vet. He
Yeah.
looks like I would even call him a grizzled vet.
Yeah.
I thought he was the coach.
Soon to be.
Soon to be, maybe. I thought, oh, that's like Don Baylor's brother or something.
Oh.
Otabay.
Otabay McDowell. Otabay.
Yeah, Otabay McDowell.
When he went to like Disneyland, he could never find his name on those license plate things.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah, where are the Otabee license plates?
We got Mike Lacoste for the Giants. Jay Howell for the Athletics. Man, we are not getting another famous Randy Reddy. He's
Randy Reddy. That's fun. That's fun to say.
Put me in,
What
coach.
a great name, Randy Reddy. Ready for what? Not stardom, that's for sure.
I like it too because like he's swinging clearly a foul ball. Like
Yeah,
look at where the
ball.
ball is.
Yeah,
Look at him. The
He's-
most exciting thing they find is when he fouled one off.
well, and it's
But
funny.
here's the fun part. It looks like he thinks he hit it into the outfield because he's looking for it out there.
Yeah, he's looking. Michael
It's
Bolton's
Randy's
brother,
shooting. Clearly, yes.
Tom Bolton. We're just not getting. Hey, there's the straw man.
Hey, straw man. He used that straw for cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, and I
I
read.
wonder if him and the doc use the same straw.
Well, and the doc. Ooh, hey, Ricky.
Ooh, Ricky he was amazing. He was one of the best leadoff hitters. To me, he was like one of the first leadoff hitters I remember that actually had power. Like when he was with the A's, he could get you like 15, 20 home runs was unheard of. And funny story, he would do the thing where he would refer to himself in the third person. He was a character. He was an odd cat. He's like,
Oh, and
"Ricky's gonna
he
do
does
this."
have the record for most leadoff home runs in the history of the MLB.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Well, in
Like he was really good.
in that '87 season, Doc actually was in the drug rehabilitation program for part of the season.
He had like a killer like rookie season, and then yeah, he went to rehab pretty quick thereafter. Oh, Doug Drabeck, he was a solid pitcher. He was a good one. He was like those Pittsburgh Pirates with Bonilla and on Bonds and stuff. He was he might have been a 20-game winner one or two seasons.
Well, I think he was a 20-game winner.
It looks like
I don't know if he,
It looks like he started in '86 as a Yankee and then got moved over to the Pirates in '87.
Yeah, I think in later years he was definitely a solid one, or like he was the number one or number two guy for that rotation.
All I can think of is his face is just like, huh, I'm actually playing baseball.
He
It's
looks
like
kind of surprised.
in 1990, he went 22-6 with a 2.76 ERA.
Damn, that's getting it done.
Yeah, it's like 231 innings pitched, 9 complete games. So I mean, he was pretty dang good in that year. It's funny. It's like he never approached 20 after that. He had 3 seasons of 15 wins, but he never approached the 20 win after that 1990 season.
Well, I put Doug up there for now. We're gonna see if we find somebody better, but we got the Yankees sticker to start this pack off. And there's Greg Gross. Mel Hall. Tracy Jones, outfielder for the Reds.
Basketball
just
Jones?
And then
upside down.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And then we got AL All-Stars Matt Noakes and Kirby Puckett.
Matt Noakes, what even I don't even remember what position did he play?
Was he a catcher? Yeah, he was the catcher. For he was an up and comer at that point, and he could hit for sure. Because he had 32 home runs and 87 RBIs, so he was a raker.
Here's the fun part. His last game, can you guess what team in 1995 he played his last game for? It's like,
Is it the Rockies?
it was the Rockies. If I'm making you guess, you know it's got to be the Rockies.
Yep.
So Matt Noakes is a future Rocky.
Then we got Jim DeShays, pitcher for the Astros.
Come on, how about a smile, Jim?
I think they caught him off guard with that picture. We got Bill Lindsay staring off into the distance there.
That is the 1,000-yard stare of I just want to look cool while I'm having a picture.
Lee Smith, this guy was a closer. He was nasty. He was intimidating. I throw this guy up on the thing if you like check out his stats, but he was a vicious closer. He'd get you 40 easily, and he would intimidate the hell out of you.
Thing is, his best years were actually with the Cardinals. Those were his best save years when he was really getting it done was with the rival Cardinals.
BJ Surhoff was a solid catcher for the Brew Crew. You heard a lot of his name.
I'm sure he got teased a lot.
Probably. Ken Oberkfell for the Braves, third baseman.
Rocking the old school shin guard. They've really improved their protective wear.
And I actually heard. So I found on YouTube, you can go back, and I've been listening to games from 1987, which is really neat because they have just the condensed versions of, it moves all the commercials and stuff. So I'm actually listening to the 1987 season as, throughout the day. And I got a kick out of the announcers. They were talking about, I can't remember which game it was, but one of the players had painted on stirrups instead of regular stirrups. And they were just like, what's going on there? Have you ever seen that before? And it made me laugh.
That's awesome. I hated stirrups, so good for him. They just rubbed your foot and they were annoying. They served no purpose. So whoever did that, bravo.
But it was just kind of interesting because, they all were traditionally wore stirrups, and then somebody had painted on ones and they were not okay with it.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening to those old school baseball games, you should try to go on FanDuel and try to bet on games from like 30 years ago, just to see if they let you.
Back to the Future style.
You would crush it.
Scott Bankhead, pitcher for the Mariners. Bob Brenly, catcher for the Giants.
Later became the manager for the D-backs when they won their only championship against the Yankees.
Another famous Randy Johnson was part of that. Jack Morris.
Oh, this guy was a stud starting pitcher. He was great. Like when the Tigers, when they were a great team, I think this guy was their eighth ace in the rotation. He moved to he later went to Minnesota, and when he was like in his older years, and helped him win a championship. Ooh, Goose Gossage, great closer. I think he spent a lot of time with the Yankees, but he bounced around. But I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. If someone wants to look that, like Randy, if you can double check that one. But
he is in the Hall of Fame. He was the original closer. But yeah, he's in the Hall because we've done. He did bounce around to a lot of teams.
And I kind of with the Oakland A's, and like they were, I believe they were one of the first teams because they were a weird team to like their guys were rocking the facial hair, so they were sort of a lot of teams didn't allow guys to do that, so they were kind of the weird.
And he had an epic handlebar mustache. He really did.
That's why he got into the Hall of Fame. That's what put him over the edge. That stash.
John Hayban, and then Fernando Valenzuela.
Ooh, great screwballer, and he was beloved in L.A. Fernando. That guy had some seasons where he was like damn near unhittable.
Yeah, it's like in LA it was Fernando Mania.
Yes.
And it's like back in the Tommy Lasorda days, and I think he was on that World Series team that won in '88 too.
Yes, he was still there. Tommy Lasorda, one of the great characters, one of the great managers too. Like there was an interview he had where he's like, basically like, he goes, if you can't get him on, you can't get him in. He goes, I'd rather get him on and not get him in than not get him on and not get him in. Like it was just this great, if you could find it, it was just a great baseball Yogi Berra type speech that he gave about wanting more. He wanted to get his guys on to get him in.
It's like, well, the funny part is later on in life, he goes and he does all those Slim Fast commercials.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about.
Remember,
nice,
it's like he did so many of those.
You got the Pittsburgh Pirates sticker to start this pack, and then another arguably Brett Saberhagen starter for the Royals. Just, he had some, I think in '87 he was coming back from injury, I want to say.
You know what that look on his face says? He says, there's a really bad team that's coming in the future, and I don't know them yet, but I'm going to be on their team someday.
Yeah, because he
eventually becomes a Rocky.
He won 20 games in '85, and then in '86 he was 7-12. And then he came back in '87 and was 18-10. So
yeah, I remember he made like a couple All-Star teams. He was definitely I believe the ace for Kansas City when he was there.
Yeah, he was good. Kurt Stillwell, infielder for the Reds.
He's on the balls of his feet. That's how you do it, kids. Balls of your feet. Get ready to go.
Yeah, keep that glove down.
But look what he's labeled as. Infield.
Yeah.
It's so
kind of generic.
Ooh,
what is that neck?
That's the sound he's making. I got a baseball bat.
Another infielder, Steve Buechele for the Rangers.
He actually was a third baseman. He becomes a third base because he ended up on the Cubs. The Cubs signed him as a free agent from Texas. Really were high on him and getting him, but he never had great seasons for Chicago.
This guy, he was with the Mets. Yeah, Jesse. I remember he was part of the World Series team with them. I think, if I remember right, I think he died tragically in some sort of weird boating accident that was really sad. It was like him and a couple other players were fishing or something. And yeah, so, decent pitcher, but yeah, tragic ending.
Then you got Mike Witt for the Angels, pitcher.
Well, no, Jesse Orozco is actually still alive.
Oh, damn it. Who was, all right. So,
yeah,
well,
it's like, it's like I'm going, wait a minute. I thought Jesse Orozco was...
All right, I'm trying.
He
Okay,
was,
I'll
a very,
think.
he was a very good pitcher, and thankfully Jesse is still alive. I don't want his family going, wait, did he die?
Could you, Randy? Could you look up, because I know definitely it was a pitcher for the Mets at some point. I don't know if our crack research team could find that out, but
A pitcher for the Mets who died?
In the
yeah, he
was it the
he
eight?
was an '80s pitcher. I remember. I swear, I want to say it was like before the season started. So it was like I swear, like Sports Center story, like tragedy struck, blah blah blah. So it's like sometime in the. So he was still a current player, so he wasn't retired yet. And yeah, darn it.
Mike
It might
Witt
come to me later, but
for the
wait and see.
Angels. He was 6'7".
How about no, Octavio Dotel died in 2025.
You got Rick Shue, third baseman, first baseman, so he's kind of got double duty there.
Utility player, they called him.
Yes. Jesse Barfield, outfielder for the Jays.
Raging alcoholic. No, I'm kidding. Just bar.
Rick Manning, outfielder for the Brew Crew. Dan Pasqua, outfield for the Yankees. Bobby Bowe.
Hey.
One of
Hey, July 1st is coming up, so Bobby Bonilla Day is coming up.
That's right.
Yeah, how much long is that? Is that just going on until he's alive, or is there an end to that? Him getting paid?
2030.
Wow. And it's the Mets, right? The Mets have to pay him.
Yep.
Wow.
Gene Larkin for the Twins. We got a all-star card of Matt Noakes. That's pretty neat. Like I said, he was real big that year. And then we got a checklist.
Checklist, sweet.
Yep. Ron Gant was on that checklist.
I always liked Ron Gant.
And Garth Lork.
Huh.
Second baseman for the Jays.
Good for him.
Steve Parr, pitcher. Richard. Jeez. Jumbling my tongue here. Steve Parr, pitcher for the Royals. Finally was able to spit that one out. All right, well, let's see. We got pitcher, outfield first. So we need a second, third, we need a second, a short, and an outfielder to round out our team for the day. Start off with.
That's what we're trying to.
There was a guy named Tim Cruz who died in a boat accident in 1993. I was trying to figure that out, but it's like I can't find a Mets pitcher that.
Well, okay. Well, I don't need to send you down a rabbit hole of death.
Yeah,
we can look up more.
Well, the thing is, there's a Wikipedia page that is dedicated to all the players that died during their playing careers.
Wow.
I mean, that's an actual Wikipedia page. I mean, talk about one I never thought I'd find.
Jack Clark, he was a good guy. He could rake. I remember, he was like 280. He could, drive in some runs. He was part of that really speedy St. Louis team that had like Roy Cole. Oh, damn it. They had some speed. Willie Smith, Vince Coleman, and like Ozzie Smith. So they had them. If they could get on, he could move them over.
And then we got Wade.
Oh,
Wade Boggs.
He's definitely got to put Wade. He's Hall of Famer. To me, it was always around the 80s. It was always Tony Gwynn winning batting titles in the National League and Wade Boggs winning batting titles in the American League.
Well, Bobby Bowe's going to stay at third base. So we've already talked about Wade.
Oh, okay. All right.
Dennis Martinez, pitcher for the Expos. No disrespect to Wade. Wade is one of the, he's there, but for our purposes, Bobby Bowe's going to stay. So no shade to Wade.
Right. But you're the guy holding the card, so you're in charge. So you make the final decision.
Dennis Martinez, pitcher for the Expos. Are you rich yet?
I'm guessing no, because I don't remember him.
We got Cubby Ed Lynch, pitcher. Bobby Thigpen, pitcher for the White Sox in a red uniform.
Weird number on the pants. That's odd. You don't see that much.
No.
Well, I think Bobby Thigpen eventually becomes a good closer.
Mike Scioscia.
Mike Scioscia for the Dodgers. He was a solid catcher.
I remember him being legendary for blocking the plate. He'd be one of those guys that he didn't care if if you tried to run him over. He was he was a sturdy guy, so he could take the punishment. And yeah, I think later became the Angels manager. I think might even took him to the World Series.
Yeah, he was 6'2", 220. That's a pretty big man. So
that's a stocky dude.
Let's see, and then we got the power team.
The Bash Brothers.
Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco. It's funny, I was listening to an A's game from '87, and they were all talking about Mark McGwire's, power and how he was, good at hitting home runs. And then they were like, and then there's Jose Canseco, who's a much better hitter than a player. They didn't have a lot of love for Canseco in the outfield, but
look at the size of McGwire's neck before the steroids. Look at that. Look at that. You should do a before and after picture, just him at the end of his career.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's Ron Gant.
There you go.
He's gonna go up for second base. We got Mike Griffin, pitcher for the Orioles. Gerald Young, outfielder for the Astros. We were talking about it last week, and in the late '80s, early '90s, if you didn't get BGO, it was harder to find a second baseman to put up on the wall.
Yeah, I like Ryan Sandberg stands out.
Oh, and Rhino,
yeah, Rhino was good.
Scott Bradley.
Yeah, but second basemen are so hard to find great ones in that era.
We got some prospects for Damon Berryhill for the Cubs. I kind of remember him.
He was decent for the Cubs. It was never great.
Got Jeff Montgomery for the Reds. I don't know if he ever.
Yeah, I'd say neither one of those prospects turned out that well because I don't remember either one of those guys.
Yeah, Jeff.
I remember Berryhill because I remember Harry Carey and Steve Stone talking about him quite a bit. But he never amounted to anything great. I mean, he had 47 career home runs, but I'm not even sure if he would have been a.
Well, Jeff Montgomery had a 6.52 ERA in '87, so it's not a good start.
I guess, yeah, he has potential because he better get better.
Yeah.
You got Larry Herndon, outfielder for the Tigers. And
check out the wristbands, by the way. He had his own face on his wristband, it looked like. Look at that.
I can't tell what it. Maybe that is a caricature of him.
So how weird.
Kind of a baller move.
And then we got Tony Armas for the Angels in the outfield.
Actually, that Angel uniform reminds me of Naked Gun because that's remember that movie? At the end, he plays an umpire, and it's the Angels, or I forget who the other. I think they're playing the Mariners, but that's the uniform in Naked Gun that they were wearing.
Got Rangers, Phillies stickers there. And if anybody wants any of these stickers, let me know in the comments. I'll hook you up. Jim Dwyer, the outfielder for the Orioles. Glenn Davis, first baseman for the Astros. Let's see, we're still missing a shortstop and third, second, first, catcher, pitcher. We need an outfielder and a shortstop. Mike Morgan,
Okay.
pitcher for the Mariners. We got some more prospects.
Oh, Morgan stuck around forever. He bounced around to the Dodgers, and like he ended up, he was on the Diamondbacks team when they won. But he was like 40 when he retired, so he was definitely a journeyman. Oh, Tony Gwynn's brother.
We got prospects Peter Smith and Chris Gwynn.
He definitely had more wheels than Tony, but that wasn't saying much.
Yeah.
Actually, Tony Gwynn stole quite a few bases. I think he stole over 400 in his career.
Yeah, we looked.
Really?
For being as chubby as he was, he actually had some. He was pretty speedy.
We looked.
Well, I guess the amount of he got on base, that makes sense because he was always on.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, it's like every single time. But yeah, he had a good amount of stolen bases in his career, which you would be very surprised by. I know I was. Yeah, he had 319, and he was only caught 125 times. So stealing at about a 60% clip.
Rupert Jones, outfielder for the A's. Greg Harris, pitcher for the Rangers. Jeff Leonard, outfielder for the Giants. We haven't seen any of the rookies yet this year, or these packs. So I mean, hopefully we'll get one soon. Storm Davis, great name for a pitcher. Bring on
been like
the
a weather
storm. Yeah.
And then retired and became a weather guy. Had to. Didn't even want to. They made him.
Shane Mack for the Padres, sorry. We got Kevin Romine for the Red Sox. Wally Backman for the Mets, second baseman. Wayne Tollison, shortstop for the Yankees. I'm gonna keep him off to the side where we might end up just putting Wayne in there for a placeholder. Doug Sisk, pitcher for the Mets, and Dan Schatzeder, pitcher for the Twins.
You really Schatzedered the bed right there. That pack was out. I think that was the most boring pack. I don't remember anybody.
Yeah, that's the pack you get as a kid, and you're just like, I wasted a lot of money on that pack.
Right. This pack has to be better just by default. Come on, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you got the Astros sticker there. That's cool. I like them. Got Scott Fletcher, shortstop for the Rangers. Robbie Thompson, second base. That's an odd picture.
Yeah. And the bat underneath the arm. Like Honeycutt.
Rick Honeycutt. Eric Nolte, Padres. A lot of pitchers coming through here. We were discussing it the other day. In the new packs, the modern era, you never get to see all the players. They just they'll sprinkle in a couple, but mostly what you're getting is star players. And it's interesting to see the contrast between the older packs where you got to see, relief pitchers. You got to see, you kind of got everybody on the team, even if they weren't.
So do you get more repeats then? Because they only have the star players? So as opposed to back in the day?
You definitely get a lot more repeats.
But don't they also have more inserts in the newer packs?
Well, yeah, value-wise, there's a lot more inserts, and they're numbered cards and prisms, and, they're definitely cooler to open and get the, fancy cards out of, but, it's just different when you're, like, these cards, you're getting everybody who played, regardless of whether they were really that good or not.
You mean like future Diamond King Mike Greenwell?
Yep. Kevin McReynolds, outfielder, in a bunt. Why are they showing him in a bunt?
As an outfielder, and yeah, he was not a speedy guy. He should not be bunting there. He should be a power guy.
Obviously, they just want him to move the guy from second to third or something like that. That's all they're trying to do with him.
Yeah, Rick Cerrone, catcher for the Yankees. Randy Myers, pitcher for the Mets.
I believe he was a reliever, and he moved to Cincinnati. Had more success with Cincinnati. He was kind of as a closer guy.
He was part of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, him and Dibble, right? Yeah, him and Rob
Dibble
Dibble.
and Norm Charlton.
This guy was a knuckleballer. I'm
Yep.
not sure. Yep, he was.
You
Yeah,
can
and
see
he was around for a long time.
you can see it. He's got the knuckle going.
And if you throw the knuckle, you can do it for a long time because you're not putting as much stress on your arm. So I'm sure he had like a 20-year career. I'm sure.
Well, and he had a brother named Phil Negro, Joe and Phil Negro.
Yep.
They both threw the knuckleball.
I liked watching that. I still like watching knuckleballers. It's so cool to watch. Todd Froworth, Corey Snyder, outfield, infield. That's a true utility guy right there.
Yeah, just baseball player. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Or
This guy plays baseball.
as Kirk likes to say, he's a dirt worker.
It's like,
Yes.
Buddy Bell, third base for the Reds.
isn't that
Fun
a
name to
future
say.
Rockies manager, Buddy Bell? Or is he a future manager but not a Rockies manager?
I'm pretty sure he is a future manager. I can't remember where he managed, but
I don't know. The Rockies have had such terrible managers lately.
Superstar Specials, we got Crunch Time,
Yeah.
Daryl Strawberry.
He was the manager of the Rockies from 2000 to 2002.
Didn't last too long. Hey, Eric Davis was a solid outfielder. He was a good defensive guy too. He could run a lot of stuff down.
We're going to put him up here because we need an outfielder. So now you got the straw man, and Eric Davis.
Right.
Got Dave Smith, pitcher for the Astros, and Ron Hassey, catcher in
Another
a bunt.
bunt.
Yeah. They really
A
did.
bunt that is going foul.
They really liked their bunt pictures back in the late 80s, early 90s.
It's an art form. I bet you know what it would. A lot of people screw it up. You got to put it on the ground. If you go to
Well,
bunt, you
and he
pop it
was
up.
screwing it up because he bunted it foul, so he was screwing it up.
And now that they have the DH, the universal DH, you don't see pitchers bunting anymore, which I hate. I like the purism of the National League back when the pitchers had to bat.
Oh,
Well,
I never liked watching the pitchers bat. I always thought it was a wasted at bat.
Oh, there you go. There's an outfielder. There you go.
All right, Barry. We don't see a lot of Barry Bonds cards, so it's kind of nice to see Barry right off the bat.
Well, as a Pirate especially, you don't get a lot of his cards.
Kent Herbeck, solid first baseman.
Solid first baseman. Yep.
Two-time World Series champion.
Paul Molitor, solid player.
Oh yeah, he was close to 300 hitter for a couple years. He would definitely put it into play. Get on base.
Oh, well, he has 3,000 career hits. I mean, I think he's also in the Hall of Fame.
He was.
Yeah, he later moved to Toronto and helped them. I believe he helped when Carter hit that walk-off home run. I believe he was a part of that team.
He also played for the Twins for a while too.
That's right, with Kirby.
So it's like he was everywhere. He knew where the winning teams were.
Well, maybe he played a part. He was clearly a good player because good average and helped a lot of teams win.
In '87,
Yep, he made the Hall of Fame in 2004.
In '87, he played third base, second base, and designated hitter. So he was definitely he was a ball player for sure.
Yep.
Nice checklist.
With his 3,319 career hits, his 306 career batting average, and 504 stolen bases.
Cubby's checklist. I'm checking to see. Doug DeCenzo is not on that list yet.
No, it was a little bit before Dougie D.
So
Not much before Dougie D.
His face, that cracks me up. That's an interesting look right there.
Yeah, what is he thinking? Oh, wait, I hit it? Wait, I got to run now. Damn it. Oh,
Ross Jones.
I think he's wondering if he has to run because it looks like he hit it down the third baseline and he's wondering if it's going to go foul.
Ross Jones, shortstop for the Royals. Tony Pena, catcher for the Cardinals.
Talking about weird catcher stances, this guy had the most legendary one. Like his leg was kicked out way to the side. He had one of the oddest catcher stances I've ever seen. It's the only thing I remember about him.
Dwight Evans, outfielder for the Red Sox. Bob McClure, pitcher for the Expos. He's trying to be tough in that picture. He's trying.
Try harder, Bob.
Sammy Stewart.
Hey, look at that.
Hard to look tough when you play for Montreal.
Not only the thumbs up, but the eye wink. I like this guy.
He's got his tongue out a little bit. Yeah, he's a goofball.
You need those goofballs for you're only pitching if you're a starter once every 5 games. You're in the bullpen. You need the little levity.
Thing is, though, it looks like that's their minor league ballpark, like High Corbett Field. So I don't know if he got the nod up to the majors or not very often.
Manny Trio, I know he was kind of like a utility guy, but I think the Cubs liked him.
Yeah, another infield outfield guy. Put him anywhere.
Yvonne Calderon.
Wherever you want.
That guy looks like he has a gut on him.
He does. See, we got Jeff Hamilton, third base for the Dodgers. Still no rookies. Slugging sophomores, Wally Joyner and Corey Snyder.
Ooh, Wally Joyner. He was a solid, like close to 300 hitter for a bunch of years. He was, he's a solid hitter.
And then you got Gerald Perry, first base for the Indians. No, Braves. I'm struggling. I'm trying to look at my monitor. I'm trying to see I gotta focus. Just like my camera.
Out of focus.
All right, last pack of the day. Let's see if we can find us a shortstop here. We got Pirates and Blue Jays sticker. Ron Robinson, pitcher for the Reds. That's quite the hairdo. Got George Bell for the Blue Jays.
He had a couple solid years. Yeah, he was a good hitter.
Robbie Wine, catcher for the Astros.
So he wasn't going to be playing in that game, so they weren't going to get an action shot of him. So he says, look, this is what I do all day long when I do play.
He was squatting for 70% of his day, even if he wasn't playing.
Jose De Leon, pitcher for the White Sox. Hey, Jamie Moyer, the guy who lasted forever. And eventually became a Rocky.
He was a kid then.
Yeah, well, he pitched for the Rockies in 2010.
Wow.
This was 80.
Yeah, when Jamie Moyer was like 78 years old, and then he was pitching for us.
That's some longevity there.
Oh my gosh, he couldn't throw above 70. Like, if he didn't put a pitch down, and if it was a down the middle pitch, it was like a BP fastball, and it was out of here. Mark Clear.
Yeah, his one year with the Rockies was very bad.
Clearly not a good player, but boom.
I saw Ozzy and got excited, but it's Ozzy Virgil. Good catcher. Mike Kingery, outfielder for the Mariners. Atlee Hammaker, pitcher for the Giants.
Where do you come up with the name Atlee? I mean, it's like you're naming your kid. Where do you come up with the name Atlee?
Seems like you would just shorten it to Lee. Just call him Lee.
Yeah. Mike Henneman, Detroit Tigers pitcher. Lance.
Oh, well, his real first name was Charlton. Charlton Atlee Hammaker.
Oh, so he went by his middle name.
Atlee's better than Charlton, I guess. Although there's Charlton Chew.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
We got Lance
About candy.
McCullers. I always liked Lance, and his kid pitches as well. Lance McCullers Jr. Ken Dixon, pitcher for the Orioles. Tim Crews, pitcher for the Dodgers. See, I mean, you can just see they give you all the pitchers in these older packs. So a lot of your cards, I mean, there's a lot more pitchers than position players. So.
Well, and the weird part is he actually passes away in 1993 on that boat accident. It's weird how that kind of came back around in a weird way.
Tim Crews did?
Yeah, because it's like I was looking up, because it's like Kirk had mentioned the pitcher that died on a boat. So I was looking for him, and I came up with this guy, Tim Crews. He actually passed away in 93 in a boating accident.
He had such a good mustache, too.
He did have a great mustache, but yeah, he's been gone for 32 years.
His stash game was on point, for sure.
And I guess I was just psychic. I was just calling. I was calling my shot. I just hit the wrong guy.
Steve Olivares, pitcher for the Athletics.
Rock.
He
was a good, like, he was I think he was a leadoff hitter, but he was a solid offensive threat with the Andre Dawson. He was in the outfield with Andre Dawson before he went to Chicago.
All right, I'm gonna grab one more pack because we still don't have a shortstop.
I mean, the good thing about Tim Raines is he did make the Hall of Fame. It was his 10th ballot, but he did make the Hall of Fame in 2017. And I mean, he deserved it. I mean, he was a 3-time World Series champion. It's like he was the NL batting champion, 4-time stolen base leader.
Yeah. Is there a limit? Like, if you get if you 15 times we vote you down, we stop putting you on the ballot? Or
it's actually 10 times. If they vote you down 10 times, then you disappear for a while and you have to be brought back by the Veterans Committee.
I just heard somebody talking about Pete Rose. That was the situation. Like, if it goes to there, then they can vote on him again. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few players who get to the number 10. Like Larry Walker, it was his last chance to get in, and they finally voted him in.
That's surprising it took so long, because he had like a decade. He was amazing.
Yeah, but the Coors Field bias really kind of crushed his value. Greg Matthews.
Well, and Todd Helton, I was surprised Todd Helton got in faster than Larry Walker.
Yeah, but I think Larry kind of broke.
Todd Helton had a lot of those same biases against him.
But Larry kind of broke the mold. You know, once he got in, I think it was one of those where people are like, okay, we let Larry in, now we can start. But Todd Helton was pretty well liked by everybody, so.
I mean, he's a legendary Rocky. He spent his whole career with us. But the thing is, it's like Todd Helton got in before Larry Walker. Helton got in 17 on his 6th ballot. Walker got in 2020 on his 10th.
Okay, I got that backwards. So yeah, it was the other way around.
Yeah, it was Helton, I think, that really kind of helped Walker get in finally.
Yeah. Brad Arnsberg.
You forget how good Todd Helton was in his prime. He was such an amazing hitter for us.
Junior Ortiz, catcher. Burt Blyleven, good pitcher for that.
He was a good, yeah.
He was kind of one of their main starters, in that lineup.
Him and Frank Viola.
Frank Viola.
And then we got more prospects, Felix Furman and Jesse Reed.
Ooh, swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I don't remember either.
Well, Felix Fermin didn't have a bad career. It's like he was. I remember him a little bit.
I always remember Rance Mulliniks because he just was like he didn't look like a ball player to me. He had the big glasses.
Felix Fermin played for 9 years.
It sounds like something you take for allergies. Do you have allergies? Are they probably what? What is his name again? How do you say it?
It's Rance
Mulliniks.
Yeah, Mulliniks. Yeah.
Take some Mulliniks. May have side effects, including drowsiness and not hitting.
Gary Thurman, Royals outfield. We got Ken Daly, pitcher.
What? You can't do that. 2 gloves? That's got to be illegal. Come on. You got to pitch with one of them. He was terrible pitcher. Never could get the ball out of his glove.
I actually saw
terrible pitcher, terrible fielder. It's like, here, try this when the ball's hit and you'd have 2 gloves.
I actually saw a kid that's got a special glove that lets him pitch from both sides of the rubber right now. It's coming up. I don't know if he's coming up in the, in the minors or anything, but yeah, he's got a glove.
I think I remember that guy. He did. He had a custom glove because he could pitch from both sides of the plate or both sides of the, which is an amazing trick.
Yes.
Is that legal? So that no old school baseball guys like, you can't do that. Like, that's allowed?
I think so, but it's really hard to do in a major league level. I don't think it's really that feasible, but.
Yeah, I've heard of switch hitters. I've never heard of switch throwers. That's a new one on me.
Switch pitchers.
Marty Barrett, second base. Mike Fitzgerald, catcher for the Expos. Chris Bando, catcher for the Indians.
A lot of
Bando Griffin.
How do you say his name, Randy? He was a Cubby.
Noche.
All Noche.
All Noche.
Oh, he was a second base and shortstop.
Unless Steve Stone was lying to me.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Kenny Williams.
It could have been Nose. Naki.
Steve Stone was busy trying to keep Harry from staying sober enough, so he had enough to worry about.
Yeah, he had his hands full. It's like, Harry, not another one. Quit giving him these drinks.
Kept pouring water in just to keep it full.
Yeah. Every third one was an O'Doul's, but Harry knew and he hated it.
Yeah, Harry knew. Harry had his own bar and restaurant. Harry knew.
Oh, he was the king of that town. That guy, I can't imagine him ever paying for a drink anywhere in that city.
No, it's like he was pretty much top tier celebrity and
loved, especially when the Cubs were bad.
Okay, so
we got a shortstop.
So Randy, do you want to do Noche or Dave Anderson for your shortstop for the week?
Let's go Noche.
Okay. So we'll end up this pack on Dave Anderson, shortstop for the Dodgers. And then we got Ernest Riles, third base for the Brew Crew. All right. Well, that was a lot of cards from 1988. As you can see, that's quite the stack. I'm going to have to go through those and see which ones I don't have in my 88 set, which is kind of fun at the end of these shows to go through and see which cards I don't have. I got a few checklists, which helps. For all of those people who don't like the checklist, I actually do like the checklist. I don't write on them, but I like to see, which cards were available in that particular set. And I know the checklist doesn't get a lot of love, so for Packs for Breakfast, it's getting some.
Is that why you relate to it? It's like because you're the checklist? Oh.
Sometimes. Well, Kirk, thanks for joining us this week. That was fun. We had some good players. We didn't get any of the key rookies, which kind of bums me out a little. I'm surprised we didn't, but it happens.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a fun. We got some Hall of Famers up there, and there's some. Yeah, we saw some good players, but yes, no, the rookies did not get. But it was a fun stroll down memory lane, guys.
It was indeed.
I'm going to have to clip out that Harry Carey run because that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. And we'll put that up on our videos for the week because that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag Harry Carey. I'm sure there's still... And if there's any people who don't know Harry Carey, hop on YouTube and listen to some Harry Carey. There's so Carey. I recommend that too if you just want to have a good giggle.
We had the...
So Harry... I mean, his calls were amazing.
WGN, after school, I'd come home and there was Harry Carey. Because it was, they played day games. They didn't have any lights. So, we had the ability to watch the games in the middle of the day.
Yep, the crazy ivy of Wrigley Field. That would be a great ball. That and Fenway would be the two. I think it would be historic just to see. It would be cool to be in that. Those stadiums are, I think, top two. Like bucket list.
So, it's not Noche, it's Nochi. Nochi.
Nochi.
No
All
chi.
right.
No chi. He had no chi, so obviously he needed to get more into feng shui. But it's no chi.
There you go.
So it's like for everybody that's going to, hammer on us for a guy they don't know either.
Well,
It's
Wait,
no
look at
joke.
you. Way to do the research. Our crack research team, not our research team on crack.
You know how
There's a
hard it is
difference.
to find how you pronounce his name? There was like 6 different sites you got to go through before I finally found it on. It was, what's the website called? Society for American Baseball.
Wow.
well,
Yeah.
When you type in something to the internet and the internet goes, I don't care.
Yeah, the internet goes, what? You really want to know that? It's like nobody cares about that.
well, Randy's got some of the
It's
fastest
like, well,
fingers in the West.
just so that Paul Nochi knows.
When it comes to researching, Randy's got some
Now
of the
Paul Nochi
fastest
knows we took the time to figure it out.
fastest fingers in the West when it comes to baseballreference.com. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well done, fast-fingered Randy.
It's like, now if I could just, well, if I ever get a lot of money, I'll be able to count it fast. But seeing as, counting to 1 doesn't take long.
All right. Well, thanks. If you're into the modern sets, then that's probably where we're going to be. And I hope everybody has a great week. And before we go, forgot to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Not sure many mothers are watching what we're doing, but there are mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
No mothers are watching this.
No, not even my mom.
Not even she loves you, but she's not going to sit through this.
Yeah, it's like my mom wouldn't sit through this either.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
That sounds like Delilah's in the back there.